Morning, afternoon people. So back in the kitchen with Tony and Teddy. I'm at a loose end for lunch today, so I thought I'm going to do a nice tomato soup. So let's get down the kitchen garden and get some ingredients. So out the kitchen garden, as you can see, plenty of ripe tomatoes. And some at the back here getting to the stage where they're overripe and starting to crack a little bit. So we're going to harvest some of these. These carrots are due to be harvested, as you can see. That one's bolted. I'm going to harvest all these very shortly. We'll grab a couple today just for our soup. That one will do. So what we're going to be using for the recipe today are the ingredients. So 1 to 1.2 kilos of tomatoes. Now, the cracked tomatoes on the top of the vine are fine. Any bits like that we'll trim off. I also put them in a bag and some will squish a little bit. So the tomatoes you've harvested need to use quickly, we're going to use those. 1 onion, a small carrot, we're not going to use all of that carrot. As you can see, some of it's cracked, we'll trim that away, use part of that carrot. A couple of vegetable stock cubes, some garlic salt, garlic and pepper salt. Okay, so we're going to be roasting our tomatoes prior to using them. So first thing we're going to do is prepare our tomatoes. So take away the ends, the green bits. If you use overripe tomatoes, just trim off it's the excess bits that have gone a little bit funny. Now this, really nice paring knife I got on Amazon. I was using the crappy ones. The last few weeks the handle falls off. I'll put a link in the description. What we're going to do is just chop the tomatoes in half. Once you chop them in half, we're just going to take away the stalk part. Now these extra bits of tomato that we trimmed off will not go to waste. They'll go in the compost. Once we finish chopping our tomatoes, what we're going to do is a bit of olive oil or vegetable oil on a tray. We'll just pop our tomatoes when they've been halved on there. Now you can use tinned tomatoes for this if you don't have fresh tomatoes, or maybe you're on a budget and you don't want to buy fresh tomatoes, it's too expensive. Then what we're going to do, we're going to take our roasted garlic and pepper, salt. We're just going to a good helping of that on our tomatoes. Now you don't have to roast your tomatoes, you could just go ahead and go straight to the next stage. However, roasting them for about 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes, will just add to that flavour. Now we're going to move on to chopping our onions and carrots while those tomatoes are roasting. Like I say, pop those tomatoes in the oven, 35 minutes at 180. Now this is my new chopping board. Got this off Amazon, very reasonable. It was £8, which in dollars is maybe $10 or $11. Reversible, use one side for meat, the other side for veg. The good thing about it is, these are the areas here. So you can chop your vegetables, push them up into this area. When they're all done, just take this over to your cooker and crack on with your recipe. I will drop a link down in the description. When we're doing tomato soup, we want to chop this onion fine. It needs to be finely chopped. So we'll go ahead and finely chop this one onion. This recipe calls for 1 small carrot. It's not a tomato and carrot soup, it's a tomato soup. This is the carrot that I harvested. As you can see, it's cracked a little bit. So I'm going to trim away some parts and just leave myself with a bit of carrot. Like I say, none of this will go to waste. Anything left will just go into the compost. Now we're not going to use the blender for this soup today. We don't want any big massive chunks of carrot in the soup. So what we're going to do is we're going to grate the carrot. Now we've used the fine grater for this carrot, so it's grated nice and fine. Put this to one side, we're now going to wait for our tomatoes to finish roasting. We're going to get our pan on the heat while the tomatoes are roasting. A little bit of olive oil or vegetable oil in there with our onion and our carrot. We're going to get that up to a decent heat. And what we're going to do is we're going to simmer that on a low heat for about 15 minutes. Ensuring you stir it every now and then. We don't want it to burn or stick to the bottom of the pan. Tomatoes are out of the oven and finished roasting. As you can see, there's a lot of juice on there. We're not wasting that. All that tomato juice, we're just going to pour it straight in there with our carrots and onion. Our tomatoes are finished roasting, and depending on how rustic or smooth you want your soup, you can go ahead and take your skins off at this point. However, I'm going for a nice rustic tomato soup, so I'm leaving the skins on. Okay, that's been simmering now for about 10 or 15 minutes. I've cranked the heat back up. What we're doing now is firing our tomatoes. So in with the tomatoes. Those tomatoes now on a high heat for about 5 minutes. Make sure you get them all mushed up. And you can see we're leaving the skin on. We're adding to that flavour. So those tomato skins are roasted. While the tomatoes are bubbling away on a high heat, we're going to make a vegetable stock. So into there, I'm going to fire about 400 ml of boiling water. In there are 2 vegetable stock cubes. Got a good mix together. Get those stock cubes nicely dissolved. That tomato's been bubbling away now for a good few minutes, rendered right down. Into that now we're going to fire our stock. Then we're just going to bring that to the boil. Once you brought that to the boil, what we're going to do, without spilling out in the cooker, as we've just done, is turn the heat right down. Pop the lid on, and we're going to simmer that, stirring it occasionally for about 25 minutes. What we're doing also is, with the carrots and onion being in there, to all intents and purposes, by simmering that for a long period, we're adding to that vegetable stock. On top of that, the water's going to evaporate off, and that soup is going to thicken up. As you can see there, we've got a really, really thick tomato soup. If you want to make that into a smooth tomato soup, what you do now is bang that in the blender. But I like a nice, thick, rustic soup like this. So I'm quickly going to serve this now with some nice buttered bread. There's enough here to serve 3. However, this is just for me for my lunch. So you can freeze this. Pop it in a Ziploc bag, stick it in the freezer. Just make sure that you defrost it before you reheat it. So lunch is served. Nice bit of crusty bread, some butter. That's lovely. If you've enjoyed that video, want to see more cooking videos, give us a big thumbs up, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.